Welcome to the Shortwave Radio channel, and this is a quick review of a old radio that is discontinued, but thanks to Andrew near Montreal, that I got a nice little Sony radio. So this is the Sony ICF 7600 GR. And so this is a long wave, medium wave, shortwave FM receiver. It is a nice little radio to have. It, of course, is general coverage, so it goes up to 29,999 kilohertz. And, of course, its features are having synchronous detection, which is what Sony invented pretty much. And a single sideband, of course, is the capabilities of this radio. Now, the GR version came out somewhere around 2001-ish and is one of the last, or the last, shortwave radio that Sony ever made. And so what do I think of this radio compared to today's radio? It's kind of interesting. So here's the radio itself, and I've used it quite a lot in the last week or so, or even more since I've got it. And that's what it looks like. It's a nice little radio, of course, nice little portable. Direct keypad entry, all of that. It's a standard portable that you would listen to shortwave on and can tune shortwave signals. It works on AA batteries, which is, of course, the standard for the time. We didn't have these lithium-ion batteries in most radios back in 2000. This goes more into a older generation type of radio. So if I would have to compare this, I first of all have to compare it with the fact that when it came out. So in 2000, when you'd buy a radio, you didn't have any DSP chips. You didn't have any fancy DSP chip receiver that gets multiple bandwidths. It was really much more down to bare bones portable of the day. So it resembles all the radios that came out, say, in the 90s. Grundig, Yacht Boy, for example, 400, things like that. So it shares features that are pretty much similar, except that the Sony here had sync detection, which was something that it was, for a long time, Sony only, basically. So because of its age and the way that we used radio back in the day, it also has a way of being used and a that goes with the time, and that means limited bandwidths, like just wide or narrow bandwidths for listening to shortwave or to different signals. A lot of radios back then didn't have a tuning knobs. The smaller portables of the day, a lot were using up-down buttons, and this radio uses up-down buttons that you see here. You can have a fast up-down by 5 kilohertz or 1 kilohertz at a time. The big problem that I hate about this radio that was not common at the time is muting when you tune around. Now, if you hold down the 1 kilohertz button, you kind of scan and it doesn't kind of mute much, but still, it's if you press the up down buttons, you'll constantly have the muting when you tune around, which is annoying, even in today's radios with DSP chips. In terms of usability, and one of the comments that came so many times on the channel here and on some of the comments that I've seen online is how I had to use a manual to find out how to actually tune this thing and have it working. And it is awkwardly designed for a Sony. It is kind of weird that you have to take, even I had to take time. I didn't go in the manual, but I had to take time to figure out, okay, this is the way you punch in a frequency. This is the way you switch from different bands and so on. One of the very awkward things is, already I find it awkward when you have to press a button to enter a frequency on a radio, because most radios you just punch in the frequencies. That's it. This one you have to punch in the frequency to say you're going to enter a frequency. So you got to punch in that button, but then you got to punch in the execute button to enter the frequency. So it's like a double useless entering of keypad use. It's bizarre. You could just like any, because even back then there are a lot of radios you just punched in the frequency. But that's the quirks of the radio. Has quite a lot of little features, including so it has, of course, the power adapter here. You have the connection to have the earbuds. You have a connection for a line out, which is nice because not a lot of radios have those. And of course, you have the sync detection. You have the upper lower sideband switch. You have the BFO, which is up here to switch around when you're tuning around the different single sideband signals. And it has a external antenna jack, which, warning, is powered. That means you got to be careful what you plug in here, because there's actually 6 volts of power coming out of this. And why? Because they were also selling the AN1 loop, which was an active loop. And to get the power, well, they decided, hey, let's put the power out here so you don't have external power to use with the antenna. So the idea is nice for that, but if you plug this, for example, if I plug this in into my multi-coupler, it's probably going to blow it up. So it's nice to know that this is powered, because you never know what's going to happen. On the other side, of course, you've got the tone switch. You've got the bandwidth switch. You also have the RF gain and on all of that in the button, the volume control. They're a little recessed, and there's the fact that the side is kind of, I don't know if we can show it in a way here. You might see that the side kind of goes a little out of the radio, so it makes these controls sometimes a little awkward to go and use, but that's the way the radio was designed. Of course, power button and the keypad on front, and a very, very feeble light for the display that's barely visible. Typical of a lot of radios of the day compared to the beautiful displays we get today. Unfortunately, what I find sad is that this display is actually not using all that it could, and there's a lot of unused space when you're using it. I wish the numbers could have been bigger. I wish a few things could have been designed differently. But anyways, it still works, and it tunes to 1 kilohertz precision, as you see on the display here, compared to today's radio, like the Texans, that tune to 10 hertz precision, which is truly amazing. Performance. This is what you guys will want to know about it. How about performance? It's average. It actually is, and I'll make some videos in the coming days. It is not up to par to today's radios. If you have a Texan, say a Texan PL 8080, which roughly comes to the same price range of this radio, you actually have better reception of shortwave. It's more sensitive than this. 990 and all of that. Even the Texan PL 330, which is half of the price of this, is basically more sensitive. And but not that much, but enough that it could, in some cases, make a difference. The other thing about this radio is the fact that I was a little surprised to hear a little bit of breakthrough on it. So there's a little bit of FM breakthrough going through. Not a lot, but enough to, see that it's maybe not the top notch. Of course, when you're used to today's radios that have multiple bandwidths, the bandwidths on this radio kind of are a little, minimal. We'll say it like that. But then again, the radios back in the day, that's the way they were designed. So you have to compare it because it's technology of that time. Audio is not fantastic. Through earphones, it's great, but so I would recommend that you use earphones with this. But through the speaker, rather average audio and nothing great. Once again, other today's radios have much better audio than this. Sync detection seems to be flawless. I mean, it definitely is superior to the sync detections of the Texans that I've tested. It locks and stays locked a lot better. And that's nice. But for the rest, it's a BFO that you use with the upper-lower sideband to tune around for single sideband signals. And I'm surprised, but it slightly drifts. Just saying, it's like you tune a single sideband signal on this, and you will notice that after a couple of minutes, you might want to readjust it a little bit. So it's not a big drift. It's not like the annoying drifts of the 80s, but it kind of surprised me that it drifts a little bit. So this is definitely interesting for that. For the rest, I wanted one of those back in the day. Today, if I had a choice and you'd given me this radio and other radios to choose from, this would not be a choice that I would make. There are vastly superior radios in the Texans. If you compare that disc mutes, an XH Data D808 is better than this. Just to give you an idea. If you consider that it mutes a Texan PL330 is superior than this. It's as simple as that. And there's no tuning knob, which it is annoying when you're used to a tuning knob. So today's radios all have tuning knobs pretty much. So that also makes it much more interesting. And of course, you can have drift-free experience with the tuning knob if you get a Texan PL 660, 680, which for me is better than this. A Texan PL 880, 990, H501, better than this. St. Jean ATS 909 X2, not the best, but I'd still choose that over this Sony. So for today, it was nice. For today, it's old technology, and there's much better on the radios. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. Thanks for watching.